Okay, yeah, I'll see you in an hour. I have the emergency operations center ID you gave me. Yeah, I'll see you soon. That was County EOC. They're saying the hurricane turned our way and they're going to stand up a bigger logistics section. They're asking if I can get down there as soon as possible and help out. What do you think?
Yeah, go. You've been preparing for this for a long time. This is a good opportunity for you to put your training to good use. You call if you need anything. Trucks, drivers, whatever.
What about corporate?
Yeah, we can get corporate. If we get hit hard here, we're going to be busy here too, but call anyway, we'll give you whatever you want.
Wow, that's great to know. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sure.
One of the greatest challenges in any disaster response operation is moving life-saving supplies, materials, equipment, teams, and resources into the impacted area. This is disaster logistics, getting the right things to the right place at the right time, under the worst possible conditions. Most communities have emergency operations plans, which include guidance on managing disaster logistics. Many exercise parts of those plans on an annual basis. Our focus is on preparing staff to fulfill key supporting roles in any disaster logistics operation. Few communities have dedicated logisticians, which can often force emergency managers to piece together a logistics support team. Your ability to reach back into your professional network can bring even more private sector resources to bear. Finally, you will learn how government, as a part of its emergency response, provides information and assistance to help private companies maintain and restore their own operations.
Welcome to the EOC. It'll be good to have your perspective. So the log section's over here, and the EOC manager and his senior staff sit over here. And the situation room, which is where most of the strategic planning takes place, is right over here. Since you trained 6 months ago, we've created this new pocket guide. So take a few minutes and look over that.
Thanks. Where do you want me to start?
The Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, is where the coordination of information and resources takes place in support of disaster response. The EOC is similar to a private sector supply chain management operation, where all logistics elements such as purchasing, transportation, distribution, and customer service are managed in a coordinated, integrated system to meet customer needs.
Everyone, this is Bobby from BG Trucking. So, any moment now we're expecting a report from the EOC manager and also an updated situation report. Then we'll have a better idea of what to do next. So, you ready to get started?
Yes. There's already so much going on and the hurricane hasn't even started yet. Things are really well organized here.
Well, we follow NIMS here. We've already activated most of the emergency support functions. And we also have a state OEM rep here who can contact FEMA at the state EOC if necessary.
Disasters can only be managed successfully if there is communication, cooperation, command, and coordination between everyone involved. Emergency managers use the Incident Command System, or ICS. ICS is a standardized emergency management organizational structure. ICS is a part of the National Incident Management System, or NIMS, which is a broader managerial approach to organizing a response including the roles of government, non-governmental organizations, and the private sector.
That concludes the situation report briefing. Are there any questions or comments?
According to our logistics plan, we need to start mobilizing immediately if we're going to have supplies and startup kits to every shelter by tomorrow morning.
Do you have enough water and ice to hand out to the public?
Well, enough to get started, but I'm going to have to place an order through our supplier by tomorrow if we want to be sure we have enough for the next 72 hours.
Okay, let me get back to you on that later today. What else?
An organized response to a disaster will only be as successful as the logistics plans and capabilities that are in place. The Logistics Annex is one component of an agency's overall emergency operations plan. Plans should include important details such as when, where, and how to stockpile food and other commodities until they are needed and how to safely access them during an incident.
Okay, the hurricane's passed and our warehouse was not damaged, but there are power lines blocking the main road. So we'll need to go out the back way. As for staging areas, we're going to set up at the community college, the city park, and the mall parking lot. Most importantly, we need to get the pods up and running ASAP. The power's going to be out for a couple of days, and we need to make sure that water, food, and ice is distributed first thing in the morning.
Pod setup is already underway, but we may have to relocate a couple of them if the roads aren't cleared in the next few hours. We don't have any reliable communication with any of the staging area managers yet, but as soon as we do, we'll get you a progress report.
During a large-scale incident, the local Emergency Operations Center will experience a sharp increase in resource requests, which can quickly outgrow the logistics staff, slowing the fulfillment process. A logistics center provides both a process and a physical location that allows an EOC to expand part of its logistics section to support an increase in resource requests. A staging area or receiving and distribution center serves as a way station for unassigned resources such as commodities, equipment, and vehicles that have been forward positioned in or near the impacted area. Commodity points of distribution, or C-pods, sometimes known simply as pods, are sites where life-sustaining commodities such as food and water are distributed to the public. As you can tell from their names, these facilities function the same as in the private sector.
We currently have 75 resource requests. The highest priority is getting food and other supplies to the shelters. They need 100 cots and blankets distributed as evenly as possible. 2 shelters have no power or water, so we need to relocate everyone and all of the supplies. 6 pods have water, but they don't have any ice or MREs, and the rest are out of everything, so they're officially closed for now. The hospital is saying their emergency generators are overloaded, so they're asking for a larger one if we can find it. And the refinery wants 40 to 50 mobile homes to set up in their parking lot so they can keep key staff on site for a few days.
Okay, make sure that all of these get entered into the tracking system and assign the right priority. Before we fill any of these requests, always call back to make sure they still need what they're asking for. Some of these requests are several hours old. Also verify quantities. Everyone's not going to be able to get everything they asked for.
As the disaster continues to grow in size and complexity, it becomes clear that the community does not have all the resources required. Outside help is needed.
Sir, we have less than a day of bottled water left and no ice. We've also given out all the generators we have in the warehouse and rented out as many others as we can, and we still need 30 more. I'm also getting that we're low on infant formula and diapers in the shelters. I've been looking for alternative suppliers, but everyone else seems to be in the same situation and making the same phone calls that we are.
Let's check the status of our request with the state. It's been in their hands for 12 hours now. They should be able to tell us soon what they're going to send us and how quickly. Also, with the governor's state of emergency in place, that will free up other resources. Plus, the National Guard can help us out with equipment and the distribution of food, water, and other resources. And the state OEM's got a list compiled of everything they need. That should be sent over to FEMA by now, but we can't count on all of that. They're not going to give us everything we need. Check the Red Cross. See what they have en route to the shelters. By now, other voluntary organizations should be up and running, so find out what they have.
Will do. I can also call around and see if we can find trucks, drivers, and forklift operators. Oh, we can also work with the dispatchers at BG Trucking. They can use their routing software to find transportation alternatives.
That sounds great. That sounds great. We need all the help we can get right now. So let me know what you can arrange and how we can take advantage of any resources that you may be able to secure.
All disasters start out as local events. However, as an incident progresses, additional assistance may be needed from the state or federal government. Local jurisdictions at or near resource capacity may request a wide variety of support from the state. If even more resources are needed, and the situation warrants, the governor may request help from the federal government. Voluntary agencies and non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, play important roles before, during, and after an incident. These organizations can provide supply chain expertise, products, equipment, and services such as transportation, warehousing, and material handling in times of crisis.
The bridge is out from the main highway, so we're cut off from the north for the time being.
When's the airport expected to reopen?
Not anytime soon. The runway's still covered in debris and the tower's damaged.
We need some options.
FedEx has a large fleet of subcontracted feeder planes that can land just about anywhere. I used them once myself to get production parts from an assembly line that was just too far away from a large commercial airport. Now, these planes can only carry 5,000 pounds of freight, but if we can find enough of them, we should be able to meet immediate urgent demand.
Where would they land?
The local subcontractors know every former training base, municipal runway, and grass field within 100 miles that can handle their smaller planes. I can arrange to have trucks meet them wherever they land, and they can deliver to us in a couple of hours if we can get these new drivers' credentials.
Okay, let's start working these options. You get me the names of these trucking companies and their drivers, I'll get you the credentials.
By the way, I got a question from one of my contacts about whether private trucks can use the old state highway. They have loads of lumber and other supplies that are going to be needed right away for emergency home repairs.
Maybe tomorrow. Right now, it's still restricted to emergency vehicles. Let me verify, and then we'll push this information through our private sector desk. I'm sure lots of companies will be anxious to know as well.
As a private sector logistician, you can leverage your knowledge, contacts, affiliations, and associations to support a disaster logistics operation and benefit the public at large.
We have approval to begin demobilizing all shelters and pods. The warehouse will remain open for a few more weeks. Can you make sure that all the inventory recovery forms are distributed by the end of the shift?
Sure, I set up a simplified inventory management system to help with the demobilization. I can come back next week and train a few people how to use it.
Thanks for all the work you've done. You really fit into the operations quickly. And we learned quite a few things from you that we can incorporate into our plans. Maybe you can write up some recommendations for our after-action report?
Absolutely.
Good. So I'll call you in a couple of weeks. I really want to get some companies involved in the next tabletop exercise.
As we have just seen, there are many ways that you as a professional logistician can help during a disaster. 1. With proper training and preparation, the professional logistician can play an important staffing role in an emergency operations center or other disaster facility. 2. Professional logisticians working hand in hand with government officials can apply private sector experience, ingenuity, and processes to solve complex problems. 3. Professional logisticians can bring even more added benefit by using their personal networks and professional contacts to increase public-private cooperation, helping to expedite community recovery. Take the time and get ready now. Research the resources listed here and take some of the basic emergency management and disaster logistics training offered online through FEMA and other programs. Reach out to your local emergency management agency or voluntary organization to see how you can help when disaster strikes.